Last night's WNBA Finals game was absolutely rigged, and there is so much proof.
It was an embarrassment for the WNBA last night.
Well, folks, here we are. Game 5 is officially in the books, and what a finish it was. The New York Liberty clinched their first ever WNBA championship with a close 67-62 win over the Minnesota Lynx at Barclays Center. But it wasn't just the players who stole the show last night. No, the conversation quickly turned to the officiating.
Tell me this, do you feel like the refs cost Minnesota the championship?
Look, Cheryl Reeve absolutely has a right to be mad.
And let me tell you, Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve did not hold back. After the game, Reeve sat down for the post-game press conference, visibly frustrated, claiming the series was stolen from them.
Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this shit was stolen from us. Bring it on.
And why? Well, according to Reeve, the officials played a major hand in deciding the outcome. She didn't mince her words either, calling for a big change in how WNBA games are refereed.
It's a shame that officiating, had such a hand in a series like this.
Reeve said, clearly feeling the sting of the loss. Today was incredibly disappointing, she continued, addressing what she believes to be unfair calls that tipped the scale in favor of the Liberty.
This is what happens when they destroy merit across the board.
Now here's where things get really interesting. With just 6 seconds left in the game, Breanna Stewart drew a foul on a mid-range jumper, one that Reeve felt should have been overturned when she challenged it. Stewie hit both free throws, tying the game and sending it into overtime. But Reeve wasn't having it. That was not a foul. That call should have been reversed, she said.
That call should have been reversed on that challenge.
Clearly upset that the challenge didn't go their way. And she's calling for some serious changes to how things are run on the sidelines. Reeve suggested that the WNBA needs to bring in a third party to oversee challenges, something similar to what we see in the NBA. But there's one problem: money. The average WNBA official earns significantly less than their NBA counterparts, with salaries ranging from $425 a game to $180,000 a year. Compare that to an NBA senior official who made $550,000 last year. So, bringing in more oversight would require serious cash, something the WNBA is just starting to accumulate as it grows.
Alana Smith is not in legal guarding position. I have played basketball my entire life, and I have been covering basketball for the past 11 years of my career. That isn't called often, not in legal guarding position.
But back to the game-changing moment. Reeve was crystal clear.
If we would have turned that clip in, they would have told us that it was marginal contact, no foul. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
In her mind, that call and the failure to overturn it decided the game. And if it had gone the other way, the Lynx might very well be celebrating their 5th championship today.
Reeve, respectfully, you did it. That's the bottom line. There was a bad call. It was no foul.
Right.
But damn it, you shouldn't have been in that situation. You should have won your game in Minnesota.
But let's give credit where credit is due. The Liberty, after 28 long years as an original WNBA franchise, finally lifted that finals trophy. And while Reeve acknowledged that one side has to come out more disappointed, she didn't back down from her statements.
I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this shit was stolen from us. Bring it on.
She boldly said, challenging anyone who questions her frustration. And you know what? She's got a point. The Lynx were on the verge of making history, chasing their 5th WNBA title. Instead, they'll have to sit with this loss for a long time. But as Reeve said, bring it on. Whatever the narrative around the Lynx might be, they're ready to face it head on. And this battle is far from over.
But first, I want to say a special thank you to the Minnesota Lynx. I don't know about you, but that is some of the most beautiful basketball we have ever seen in WNBA Finals history, and both teams deserve a ton of credit and love.
So what's next for these two teams? Hey, before directly jumping to the conclusion, let's first get back to how it all began. It was right after the conclusion of Game 3 of the finals. What an absolute nail-biter it was. The New York Liberty took a crucial 80-77 win over the Minnesota Lynx, breaking the tie and inching closer to that coveted title.
Especially if the Liberty go on to win it, to get this win in front of this crowd on the road on a shot like that, we'll talk about it forever in WNBA history.
But while this looked like a huge boost for the Liberty, not everyone was convinced. Minnesota's head coach, the legendary Cheryl Reeve, the four-time WNBA Coach of the Year, wasn't exactly singing the same tune. She had some thoughts on the officiating that we've got to talk about. Yes, before Game 5, she had something to say about Game 3 too. In the post-game press conference, Coach Reeve didn't hold back. She called out the officials, saying that Lynx star Napheesa Collier, or Fee, as we all know her, wasn't getting the same treatment as Liberty's own Breanna Stewart.
That's what's coming. I think greater recognition, that's what's coming. And Fee's earned every bit of it. And like you said, still, the season that she was having, it's not Fee that you're hearing about, right? It's other players. And so, but I think Fee's earned it, and we'll see going into next season if maybe, she'll be a little more face of the league.
Now, that's a bold claim, right? Reeve said, "She got fouled. She was asserting herself, but for whatever reason, we can't seem to get to the foul line in this series." Ouch. That's some serious tea right there. The Liberty were called for 13 fouls compared to the Lynx's 18, and guess what? Fee herself picked up 3 fouls today, bringing her final series total to 12.
When she sees something that doesn't go the way it should be from an officiating standpoint, that she's a leader and she's got to be somebody that can communicate on behalf of her teammates.
Remember that crucial foul against Stewie that led to overtime in Game 1? Yeah, Fee owned up to that one too, saying, "Wish I wouldn't have fouled." But hey, these moments make us wonder, was it really the officiating or something else? Despite the drama, let's not take away from the absolute show Sabrina Ionescu put on tonight. With just a second left in the game, she pulled up with ice in her veins and hit a clutch three-pointer to break the 77-77 tie. Can you imagine the pressure? And she nailed it. Even Minnesota's Kayla McBride couldn't help but give her props, saying, "Great player, made a good shot." But was that the defining moment? Let's not forget about Breanna Stewart. Stewie was on fire tonight, y'all. She dropped 30 points and grabbed 11 rebounds, with a whopping 22 points coming in the second half. Sabrina herself admitted, "We don't win this game without Stewie." What a powerhouse! Still, the Lynx didn't go down without a fight. 4 of their starters hit double digits in scoring, including Napheesa with 22 points and 9 boards. But those final minutes, trailing 73-69, just weren't enough to stop the Liberty's push.
No, I'm just emphasizing the agreement. Now that is going to be number 4 on Napheesa Collier.
And then came Game 4 of the finals. After a thrilling Game 4 between the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx, we were all tied up once again. The Lynx handed the Liberty a nail-biting 82-80 defeat, keeping their hopes alive. But let me tell you, it wasn't just the action on the court that stole the show. Liberty's head coach, Sandy Brondello, was the real headline maker this time. According to a post by Alexa Filippo on X, Brondello was the most animated she's been in a while, and for good reason.
That time, I'm one of the nicest bloody coaches in this league, but this pisses me off. Just be fair.
She felt there was some disparity in the calls, leaning toward the Lynx. And get this, Brondello didn't hold back, dropping a couple of bloody mentions and even an F-bomb when talking about fouls. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. So, what exactly sparked all this? Let's rewind to when the game was locked at 80-80 with just 5 seconds on the clock. Minnesota's Courtney Williams took a mid-range jumper, missed it, but her teammate Bridget Carlton was right there, fighting for the rebound. Then, in the blink of an eye, Sabrina Ionescu got called for a foul on Carlton. Ouch. Carlton knocked down 2 clutch free throws, giving the Lynx the edge they needed to seal the game and send the series back to Brooklyn. But wait, what was Ionescu's role in all this? Well, she did make contact with Carlton, and that's when things got heated. Brondello wasn't having it. She was fuming that the refs made that call in such a pivotal moment. She even said in the post-game conference, "I know Cheryl said it last time, but we got no calls today. And if you thought that was it, Oh no, she kept going. According to Brondello, she was trying to call a timeout, but the refs didn't hear her. Seriously? Can you imagine the frustration? She said, "Do I have to speak up in a press conference? They called ticky-tack fouls, and we were down there getting hit and got nothing. I'm one of the nicest bloody coaches in the league, but this pisses me off. Just be fair, you know? If they're getting hit, it's a bloody foul." And the numbers back up her frustration. In Game 4, the Liberty racked up 16 turnovers and 14 fouls, while the Lynx had only 9 fouls and 13 turnovers. Brondello even referenced Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve, who had complained about uneven foul calls in Game 3. But Brondello didn't stop at slamming the refs. She admitted that the Liberty could have done better, including herself, saying she should have gotten a fitting timeout. But now it was all behind them, and both coaches, Brondello and Reeve, were gearing up for the final showdown on Friday. Little did she know what was in store for Game 5. With the Minnesota Lynx holding onto a 58-60 lead and just 5.2 seconds left, New York Liberty's Breanna Stewart, or Stewie, came up clutch. She caught the inbound pass, shuffled her feet a bit, might have even traveled, let's be real, but then got fouled on her shot attempt. And just like that, Stewie hit 2 free throws to tie it up, sending us into overtime. Talk about pressure. But back to the headlines. Reeve wasn't done voicing her concerns after Game 3, and those feelings carried right into Game 5. And now, here we are. With the Liberty's first ever championship under their belt, and Cheryl Reeve still demanding answers.
That was lost. Officiating, missing a shot clock violation. This sucks. This is for a championship.
What does this mean for the future of WNBA officiating? Is change coming? So let us know your thoughts in comments below until we find the answers together.